Reckless Jake, you know. This is a man who thinks something bad is coming and fast. Sources say the moment Jake walked free, he didn't smile. He panicked. Security was rushed in. Phones were taken. And one insider claims Jake asked a question that sent chills through the room. If they wanted me gone, how long would it take? Yeah, that Jake Paul. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. The people he's begging, they're not random trolls. They're not internet haters. They're people who know things. A leaked message allegedly reads, "I'll disappear. I'll stay quiet. Just don't touch me." So what did Jake do that made him this scared? Why are his Opps suddenly silent instead of loud? And why are insiders saying his release wasn't freedom, but a countdown? Because once you hear what happened behind closed doors, you'll understand why Jake Paul thinks this could end very badly. To understand why Jake Paul is allegedly begging for his life right now, you need to understand one brutal truth first. Jake Paul didn't just make enemies, he collected them. For years, Jake thrived on chaos. Beef wasn't a side effect of his career, it was the fuel. He disrespected rivals publicly, mocked powerful figures privately, and treated consequences like content. Every feud meant more views. Every threat became a punchline. Until one day, it didn't. Insiders say Jake's downfall didn't start with one mistake. It started with too many crossed lines. Lines that weren't meant for the internet. Lines that involved money, loyalty, and egos that don't forgive. Behind the flashy lifestyle, Jake was allegedly moving in circles far darker than his YouTube persona suggested. Private parties, closed-door meetings, business opportunities that never made it to Instagram. According to a former associate, Jake thought everyone was playing the same game he was clout. But some people were playing for control. That's where the tension began. Jake's rise from internet prankster to boxing star didn't just change his bank account, it changed who felt threatened by him. Fighters, promoters, former partners, and unnamed connectors who believed Jake owed them something. Money, silence, respect. Take your pick. And Jake? He didn't pay. He didn't apologize. He laughed. One insider claims a warning was delivered months before his arrest, not public, not dramatic. Just one sentence, spoken quietly. You're protected right now. Don't assume that lasts. Jake ignored it. Then came the legal trouble, the arrest. The sudden silence from people who used to defend him loudly online. Fans thought it was just another scandal, something Jake would spin, monetize, and move past. But behind the scenes, sources say Jake wasn't confident anymore. He wasn't cracking jokes. He was asking questions. Dangerous questions. Who's talking? Who's mad? Who benefits if I don't make it out? According to someone close to his camp, Jake started distancing himself from old friends, switching security teams, and avoiding locations he once flexed from daily. That's when the paranoia turned into fear, because the threats stopped being loud. They became quiet. No DMs. No public callouts. Just silence. And in the world Jake had stepped into, silence didn't mean peace. It meant decisions were being made. What makes this situation even more explosive is Jake's history of humiliating his opponents publicly. He didn't just beat rivals, he embarrassed them. He exposed private messages. He laughed at losses. He turned grudges into content. And according to insiders, some of those people didn't forget, they waited. One leaked message allegedly sent to Jake after his release reads, "You're not untouchable anymore." That single line reportedly shook him. Because this time, Jake wasn't dealing with trolls or online haters. These were people with reach beyond social media, people who don't respond with tweets. Sources say Jake's inner circle is now split. Some believe he's overreacting. Others believe he knows something he isn't saying out loud. One former ally allegedly told him, "If you're scared, it's because you finally see the whole board." And here's the part that makes everything feel unavoidable. Jake's release wasn't celebrated by everyone. In fact, insiders claim certain people were angry he walked free. Angry enough to feel embarrassed. Angry enough to feel exposed. That's when the begging allegedly started. Not public. Not dramatic. Private calls. Indirect messages. Mutual contacts used as shields. Jake Paul, the loudest man in the room, suddenly choosing silence. Because according to those close to the situation, Jake believes one thing now more than ever. This isn't about beef anymore. It's about survival. And just when he thought keeping his head down would make things cool off, something happened behind the scenes that made everything worse. Much worse. Everything changed the night Jake Paul realized the threats weren't just talk anymore. According to multiple insider accounts, the shift happened quietly, no cameras, no sirens, no headlines. Just one meeting that was never supposed to happen. A meeting Jake allegedly tried to avoid, but couldn't. Sources say Jake was contacted through a mutual connection, someone he trusted enough to answer the phone. The message was simple but chilling. They want to clear the air. No cameras. No drama. Jake hesitated. He asked questions. Too many. And that's when the tone changed. You don't get to stall anymore. That's when fear officially replaced confidence. Insiders claim Jake arrived with heavy security, expecting intimidation, maybe shouting, maybe threats. What he got instead was worse. Calm. Cold. Controlled. The kind of silence that doesn't need to raise its voice because it already knows it has leverage. One source who claims to know what was said inside the room revealed a line that allegedly shattered Jake's composure. You think your release means you're free. It just means you're visible again. That's when Jake reportedly started sweating. Not figuratively, literally. His bravado vanished. His posture changed. The cocky grin people love to hate? Gone. Because the conflict wasn't about old beef anymore. It was about what Jake allegedly promised and never delivered. According to leaked information, Jake had made behind-the-scenes commitments during his rise, favors, partnerships, silence agreements, things never meant for public consumption. When money started pouring in and fame exploded, those promises became inconvenient. So Jake ghosted. He moved on. He flexed. And people noticed. One insider claims the confrontation ended with a warning, not a threat, which made it even worse. We don't want problems. But if something happens to us, everything about you comes out. That sentence reportedly broke him. Because here's the twist, the people confronting Jake weren't threatening violence. They were threatening exposure. And according to sources, what they allegedly had on Jake would destroy more than his career. We're talking private messages, recorded conversations, financial details that don't line up with his public image. Jake knew it. And that's when the begging allegedly began. Not on his knees. Not dramatic. But desperate. A leaked voice note that surfaced in private circles reportedly captures Jake saying, "I'll fix it. I'll disappear if I have to. Just don't do anything that can't be undone." Read that again. That can't be undone. That's not the language of someone worried about headlines. That's the language of someone worried about consequences that don't end. But here's where the story takes its first major twist. According to insiders, Jake's attempt to de-escalate backfired badly. Instead of calming the situation, his sudden fear signaled weakness. And weakness in these circles invites pressure. More people got involved. Old rivals resurfaced. Former allies stopped answering calls. And one person Jake least expected allegedly turned against him. A former confidant. Someone who knew his moves, his schedule, his habits. Someone who didn't need to threaten him because they already had access. That's when Jake reportedly changed everything overnight. Flights canceled. Addresses rotated. Security protocols rewritten. One source claims Jake asked a chilling question during a private conversation. If I vanish for 6 months, does this die? But the answer he got wasn't comforting. No, it just gets louder. And then came the moment that flipped the entire narrative. According to leaked internal chatter, Jake discovered that someone was already talking. Not to the media, to people who don't leak for clout. Someone was trading information. And Jake wasn't the one in control anymore. That's when panic set in. Jake Paul, the master manipulator of online drama, suddenly unable to control the story. Unable to buy silence. Unable to predict the next move. Insiders say his fear now isn't hypothetical. It's specific. Timed. Targeted. And the most terrifying part? He doesn't know who is coming for him first, the people he owes, or the people who want revenge. Because according to those closest to the situation, Jake has now realized one brutal truth. You can't outbox real consequences. You can't prank real enemies. And once the begging starts, it's already too late. And just when Jake thought things couldn't escalate any further, a new revelation surfaced that changed everything. What Jake didn't expect was how fast everything would spiral once the whispers leaked outside private circles. It started with one anonymous post, short, vague, but terrifyingly specific. No names, no emojis. Just one sentence that sent shockwaves through influencers' spaces. He's asking for mercy now. Within minutes, screenshots began circulating. Not confirmations, hints. Blurred messages. Cropped timestamps. Audio waveforms with no sound attached. The internet did what it always does best. It connected dots that Jake desperately wanted erased. Then came the first real leak. A burner account uploaded what insiders claim was part of a private conversation involving Jake after his release. The audio was distorted, but the words cut through clearly. I don't want this to go further. I'll do whatever it takes. That was the moment the narrative flipped. This wasn't a fearless fighter anymore. This was a man trying to slow something down, something already in motion. And once that clip spread, everything detonated. Big creators started going quiet. Others started hinting. A few posted cryptic messages like, "Careful who you embarrass on the way up." Fans noticed immediately. Why weren't Jake's usual allies defending him? Why were rivals suddenly calm instead of loud? Why did it feel like everyone knew something, except the public? According to industry insiders, the shocking reveal wasn't just that Jake was afraid, it was why. Allegedly, information surfaced proving Jake wasn't just dealing with one group, but multiple parties, each with their own reasons to want leverage over him. Money disputes, broken agreements, private footage that was never meant to exist. One source claimed Jake didn't realize how many people kept receipts. Then came the moment that made everything worse. A second leak surfaced, this time not audio, but text. A message allegedly sent by Jake through a third party read, "I don't want retaliation. I just want peace. Please." That single word, please, went viral. Influencers who once rushed to defend Jake suddenly avoided his name entirely. Podcast hosts teased a story they couldn't talk about yet. Reaction YouTubers paused mid-sentence, looked at the camera, and said things like, "I'm not touching this." That's when people knew this wasn't just drama. This was industry-level discomfort. Then a verified celebrity account posted a cryptic tweet, "When egos collide with real consequences, the internet won't save you." No names, no context, but everyone knew who it was about. Fans dissected every like, every retweet, every follow. Screenshots flew. Timelines refreshed nonstop. Some accused Jake of playing victim. Others believed he was genuinely scared for a reason that hadn't surfaced yet. And then came the most controversial reaction of all. A former associate, someone from Jake's early rise, went live and said, "Y'all don't know half of what goes on behind the scenes. This ain't a joke." He ended the stream abruptly. No explanation. No follow-up. That clip alone fueled hours of speculation. Industry insiders reportedly began distancing themselves quietly. Deals were paused. Appearances were rescheduled. One anonymous manager told a gossip page, "Nobody wants to be standing next to this if it blows up." The divide was clear. Supporters argued Jake was being targeted, hunted by rumors and exaggeration. Critics said this was the inevitable result of burning bridges too loudly for too long. Neutral observers noticed one terrifying detail. No one close to Jake was denying the fear. They were just saying nothing. And that silence fed the controversy even more. One trending hashtag captured the tension perfectly. Hashtag, "What did Jake do?" Not because people wanted gossip, but because they wanted answers. As the pressure grew, so did the stakes. Media outlets tiptoed around the story, carefully using words like alleged, rumored, and unverified. But even with cautious language, the implication was clear. Something serious was unfolding, and everyone could feel it. The industry wasn't reacting to proof. It was reacting to possibility. And in a world built on image, possibility can destroy careers faster than facts. As midnight passed and Jake remained offline, one chilling thought dominated the conversation. If this was all fake, Why does it feel like everyone's afraid to say that out loud? And more importantly, who's going to blink first? Just when people thought the chaos had peaked, a detail surfaced that changed the entire tone of the situation. Late at night, while Jake Paul was still completely offline, an insider quietly dropped a sentence to a private group chat that later leaked. Jake isn't begging because of threats. He's begging because of timing. That one line sent chills through everyone who saw it. Timing of what? According to multiple anonymous sources, Jake's release didn't just put him back in the public eye, it allegedly triggered something that had been waiting. Something unfinished. People close to the situation claimed Jake believed he had more time, more leverage, more control. He was wrong. A leaked exchange allegedly shows Jake asking someone close to him, "Did they think I forgot?" No context. No explanation. Just that question. And suddenly, the narrative shifted again. What if Jake wasn't just scared of retaliation? What if he was scared of exposure? Now listen carefully, because this is where you come in. Everything you just heard raises one uncomfortable question. Is Jake Paul actually scared, or is he hiding something much bigger? I want you to be honest in the comments. Do you think Jake is being threatened, or do you think someone is about to expose something he never wanted public? Because the silence right now, that's not confidence. That's tension. And tension always breaks. Some fans are saying this is all exaggerated drama. Others believe Jake knows a storm is coming and there's no way out. So which side are you on? Backhand index pointing down comment below. He's a victim, or he knows what's coming. And don't just comment, read the replies, because the real fight is happening down there. If you think this story ends here, you're wrong. Sources are already hinting that more leaks are coming, more names may be involved, and the next update could completely flip the narrative again. So if you don't want to miss the moment when this explodes, hit subscribe right now. Turn on notifications, because when the next piece drops, it won't be small and it won't be quiet. And one last thing, if Jake finally speaks, or if someone speaks for him, do you think it saves him or destroys him? Let me know, because the next video might change everything. Insiders now claim that Jake's panic started after learning that private material, messages, recordings, agreements, may have resurfaced in the wrong hands. Not random hands. Strategic ones. The kind that don't rush, they wait. One source put it bluntly, this isn't about violence. It's about who controls the story when it finally breaks. That's when the whispers about a deadline began. Allegedly, Jake was given a choice. Not publicly, not officially, but clearly. Stay quiet. Stop poking. Disappear for a while. Or watch everything unravel in a way no apology video could fix. Fans noticed something terrifying after that. Jake didn't just stop posting. He stopped moving. No sightings. No gym clips. No paparazzi shots. Even people who usually leak his location had nothing. And then came the most unsettling detail of all. A close associate reportedly said Jake asked them, "If I leave the country, does that make it worse?" That question alone lit up conspiracy circles. Why would leaving make it worse? What happens if he stays? And who exactly is watching his next move? The internet is split again, but this time, not into supporters and haters. Into people who think this is performance, and people who think this is the calm before something explosive. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. People don't beg unless they believe the alternative is unthinkable. And Jake Paul has never begged before. As of now, there's still no statement. No denial. No clarification. Just silence, heavy, deliberate silence, hanging over a situation that feels dangerously unfinished. And one final rumor is circulating behind closed doors. If Jake speaks next, it won't be on his terms. So the real question isn't whether the story is over. It's whether the next update comes from Jake or from someone who's been waiting a very long time to speak. Because whatever happens next won't be reversible. And when it breaks, it's going to break everything.